Hello everyone and welcome to Blaugrana everything and welcome back to the channel and welcome to a match review of FC Barcelona's very narrow and quite fortunate 1-0 win at home against Celta de Vigo. And well, this is a match that now makes it 3 straight underwhelming performances from FC Barcelona. Now obviously we can add in the caveat here that unlike the matches against both Mallorca and Inter Milan here, FC Barcelona did look at least like they were having the right ideas. They were penetrating Celta de Vigo, but that was only in the first half, and the second half was quite honestly a horror show and just a proper example of how not to defend and how not to, control a game and see it out for what should have been an easy win, to be quite honest. Once Barca got ahead, it should have been easy for them to control the match and to see it out for the victory. Anywho, like I usually do with my match previews, I'll first take you through the tactical setup from both teams, then we'll get into negatives and positives, and finally I will give you my man of the match. Now, if you are tuning in for the first time, please do hit that subscribe button. We're trying to get to that 3K marker. Right now we're sitting at about 2,300 subs, and it will be great to get into that 3K territory, so please do hit that subscribe button and also hit like on this video for more content like this, because we've got a big week coming up ahead. Not only do we play Inter Milan in what is a must-win game, but we then go to the Santiago Bernabeu in what is another must-win game, if at least we want to stay top of La Liga like we are at the moment. So yeah, stay tuned guys, and like I said, subscribe and hit like. Okay, so let's go into the tactical setup from both teams. FC Barcelona set up as usual in a 4-3-3. We saw quite a bit of rotation here, no doubt because of those two matches against Inter and Real Madrid coming in quick succession. Ferran Torres got a start here, and so did Jordi Alba and Marcos Alonso. Marcos Alonso playing as a makeshift center back, with Alejandro Balde as well playing as a makeshift right back. And this is what the team looked like. Celta de Vigo, on the other hand, set up in a 4-1-3-2, 4-4-2 type of formation. They had the following setup anywho with the following players, and as usual, FC Barcelona's chief torment, Iago Aspas, who, fun fact, is the player with the most goals against FC Barcelona in the 21st century. Crazy stat, right? Yeah, just crazy. Anyway, let's get into some negatives and positives, and of course we're going to start with negatives, and right off the bat, this, we're going to call it the defensive crisis. Now obviously we somehow managed not to concede a goal here. Now don't ask me to explain how that happened. I do not know. We could have easily conceded 4 goals. That's right, 4 goals in that second half, but we did not. And a huge reason for that was just we did not have adequate structure, which of course you can understand, seeing as that was a makeshift back 4. But looking at the fact that we have Jules Koundé and Ronald Araujo out, our 2 best defenders, you have to sit back and ask yourself, is this what the rest of the season is possibly going to look like? Because those guys are not going to be back, at least not against Inter. Maybe Koundé is back against Real Madrid, although I hope we don't rush him back, because if it means rushing him back and he misses even more matches, I'd much rather we leave him out of our Clasico, take one on the chin there, just so he can come back and he can help us in other big matches, because remember, we still have Bayern Munich coming up after El Clasico, which is a crazy kind of schedule we have right now. So yeah, that defensive crisis, it's definitely a negative here. Another negative, I should say, is the lack of fluidity in attack. Now, during the first half, like I said, Barcelona played pretty okay. There was more fluidity and movement in attack, especially down that left wing. We saw Gavi, we saw Alba and Ferran Torres all moving around and getting in good positions. Ferran should have really scored early on, and Gavi, of course, from one of those runs ended up creating the goal that Pedri scored. So what happened then in the second half is like that fluidity just all disappeared. It was just all non-existent. Okay, in the first half we were at least able to force the Celta de Vigo goalkeeper into making some saves, some pretty good ones as well from that shot by Rafinha. But come the second half we did almost nothing. I only remember the shot from Dembele close to the edge of the area. That's the only save I remember the Celta de Vigo goalkeeper making, and it's just not good enough. Of course, I did highlight in the match against Mallorca that there was a rhythm that was missing owing to the fact that the international break did disrupt this team, and you can still see that it's just not quite there yet. Robert Lewandowski today as well barely got any service, and he looked almost invisible at moments. Rafinha as well struggled to beat Javi Galán on quite a few occasions, but he at least tried better. I would say this was a better performance from him than against Inter, but we'll see how everything goes. I'll now just move on and give you my one positive, and that one positive actually has to give credit where credit is due. We did have some good performances in here from Gavi, from Pedri, from PK, and from Marc Andre Ter Stegen as well. Even though I know he made quite a few errors with his distribution today, it just wasn't at that level, but that's probably maybe because of that knock he took. But otherwise, his shot stopping was as good as it's ever been, and the clean sheet in this case, aside from luck, comes down to Marc Andre Ter Stegen as well, making some very big saves. And so I just think that is probably the only positive we can take away from this game. Beyond the performances of those four players, there's really nothing else that I could add on. That's just that. That's the positive. I'm going to move on and give you my man of the match, and this time around it was a pretty difficult choice. It was between Gavi and Pedri, and I went with Pedri, not just because he scored, but because once Pedri came off, Barcelona just completely lost all manner of control in that midfield, especially in those moments where there was a break on and you just needed your midfielders to hold the ball just, maybe for 2 or 3 passes. It just wasn't happening. Of course, Pedri was gliding past players like a ballerina in this game. He was just pretty good, and I think he was the best player on the day, and it's for that reason that he is my man of the match. Now guys, that's all that I have, but if you have any thoughts, in the comments on what other negatives or positives that you might have from the matchup, and also maybe you had a different opinion on your man of the match, do let me know in these comments. Otherwise, thank you for tuning in. I'll see you after the Inter Milan game. Hopefully it's going to be a much better performance than the last 3 performances we've seen from this team. But until then, have a great day, and Forza Barca.